yeah, and I mean, they're both fantastic Sage players. Lori, of course, making that switch over here onto this map. Haven't seen that a ton in the past, but these are two players where, yeah, we've got strong duelists on both sides of the server, but Lori and Daiki are the standout players you have to keep your eyes on.
Well, here we go. It is Brazil's best, and we'll have to see if the Shopify Rebels can overcome as we get things started on Fracture, and it is quick off the rip. Shopify, fast south side pitch. It's a bit of a slow crunch through main, but the flash perfect from TL still. Benita gets one, and when that smoke up, Shopify can choose to keep fighting this or just chill out. They have Team Liquid completely segmented
and
for the
backside.
Flowerful's got the spike, and more players down as well. This is falling to pieces for Team Liquid.
I mean, they just traded positions. Maybe Nachi1 can switch things up, but it's a 2 versus 4. This whole play was started off by an insane slower lineup from Lori. She threw it from over on the A site, while the rest of her team pinched out of B main. And now Flowerful watching for Daiki.
And that's so difficult too. Wall up in your face. Nachi has to expend so much ammo to get rid of that one, and now 4 players holding for her, and Flowerful will not let her through. A player that started a little slow yesterday, but hot start here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shopify already showing us the work they've put in before this tournament. First time we're seeing them on Fracture. Previously, this is a team where they play the Neon and they play the KO. This time, they've got Raze and Sage.
The last time we saw them play with the Rage was, a Raze was back in the Dark Ages. They were playing a comp that would make you rage.
Yeah.
It was with the Jet as well in there, so this is something very new for them.
It was double duelist, and that was back in April. Since then, all the Neon train. So I really like that we're seeing, especially because on Fracture, this is a map where so much power is in these early set plays, especially on defense. That was your typical south side crunch, but with the Sage slow lineups all the way from A, it just adds those little layers, and it's something Team Liquid are going to be guarding for in the future.
Yeah, that's the start you want if you're Shopify, though. This is a team that, on the stage, they tweeted a lot about how much the vibes were just extremely positive. They were having so much fun yesterday, and it seems like that's continuing through.
Oh, yeah. They switch things up, though, here, right? You do a pistol round, this instant, fast tempo crunch to the bot side. Now just waiting for Team Liquid to come over towards them. And I think that's a good sort of pace change. You always want to keep the attacking team on their toes because, again, this is a map where it does really just flip the script a lot of the time. So much defender-sided aggression is welcomed on a map like this, and I think Shopify have very good ideas already we're seeing unfold. Yeah,
talk to me about these Sage compositions. It's a comp that I think has kind of fallen out of favor quite a bit, but both these teams are electing to commit to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of like on the attacking side, I think it gives you a lot of cool options working into the B site, sort of blocking off a generator with the Sage wall. Of course, this isn't really a map where teams play super far off site, so it's not like one of those, like an ice box where a Sage is going to hold onto a wall on the defensive side and use that to sort of cheat their way through a defuse all the time. But I do really like it with the Raze combination. It's kind of like a fade. You see the slow orbs combined with the paint shells gives you a lot of power here in the tight corridors.
Yeah, it will be a prime gaming flawless for Shopify, but not a bad round for Team Liquid. They were actually doing a great job of playing as optimally as possible. They farmed, I think, 2 orbs in that round. Couldn't quite get the 3rd, but it was their goal.
Yeah, and that's Naxi picking those up. I think 4 orbs out of the 7, working towards that breach ultimate. So that's going to be a big deal. Not necessarily for round 3, but like you lose the first 2 rounds, you're looking to get a big ult for round 4. Rifle versus rifle, and especially something like that breach ult, whether you're going, down underpass to get that big ult onto B, or maybe a sands push, it gives you a lot of power to blitz out onto the site.
Yeah, and Shopify will run this setup similar to how you would play with a fade in the mix, where they're really dedicated to these kind of A-main trap plays with heavy breach and a nade to react off contact.
Yeah, and Shopify have loved these sort of heavy leans, even when they're playing stuff like the Neon in the past, where they sort of leave Flowerful and Island towards B. You can see all 4 players outside of A-main. They put up the wall. That's going to instantly get broken, but even though you put down the early wall and it does get chunked out, it's really hard for Team Liquid to actually push through that. They also electing to play the Sage as opposed to another initiator, maybe a fade, KO, the more popular ones on this map. You can't really scout around those corners as easily.
Yeah, an interesting setup from Liquid. Every single player starting on the south side of the map here, only the trip to hold things down from bridge. So they do have to fully commit to reclearing the underpass.
Yeah, they really like underpass. Last map they were doing it, or last round rather, now they're going for it again. I wonder how quiet they're going to be, or if they try to farm another orb, because Shopify, with this walk out of A main, I love it, a triple flank, and Nachi1 the one to hold it down and instantly falling back.
She has to here. Shopify pushing together. Flowerful can't quite hold the side, so that flank becomes all the more important, but Nachi1 a great hold. 2 picked up. Now support from her breach. She wants that 3rd, but Lori will deny, so 4 versus 2, and this round not looking great for Shopify now as Benita is trapped in spawn.
Yeah, a bit of a bulldog moment, I think, for Flowerful there. Important that TL on the entrance moments. Bastardo was able to find that kill onto the enemy chamber, and Team Liquid are going to get themselves on the board. And importantly, Naxi is just one orb off that ulti.
Yeah, that she is getting very, very close. Should have that ready for this round. One thing that I think that was a little bit interesting about Team Liquid, when we were out in the crowd yesterday in their game against Fennel, there's a ton of Liquid fans out here. They may be a Brazilian team, but that EU org kind of runs deep for them.
They definitely, like, G2 was getting all the chance on day one. Team Liquid definitely was finding some power. They were looking up into the stands as well. And this is also a team that, well, yes, they have some roots in Europe, right? TL, the main org, definitely plays here, but Team Liquid Brazil also boot camped here twice.
I think it's their third time in Europe thus far with this squad, so lots of experience playing over on this side of the world. Yeah,
they've made the long trip a few times, so forget about the jet lag, anything like that. No, definitely going to feel very comfortable here, and already working these slow early rounds. That's been interesting to see out of this Team Liquid team. A fairly aggressive team, I think you can say, but on Fracture just waiting to see where will Shopify push us.
And you see the difference between the Neon and the Raze here. The Raze having to go for these slower contacty plays that will work against Nachi 1 there. You compare that to their Neon comp, where it was really, really aggressive on their dives.
Definitely was, and because now you sort of lose that second player on the top side of the map, it makes it a little bit more difficult to pivot out of an A hit, right? All three players down towards the south side. Here's that ulti, and Lori, she's been good, but can you get kills through this concuss?
She does have support though. Her breach towards spawn, aftershock will delay, and it's slow as well.
Look at
that.
The
feels good. This ult has been completely nullified. Smoke in their face. Steel cannot get out. Saunders shut down the north side. Another slurp into main, and they're still stuck.
Yeah, Daiki got the one kill from drop, but instantly gets traded. You lose the pinch, and now they're all going out in sand.
Good audible, though. Faster sands. Bastarda opens onto Sonder, and again, it's down to Lori this time, though. No more can come Bonita. Maybe she can do something more to kill Spike on the floor. 20 seconds, and Bonita just does it all.
Oh, yeah, the 3K right there. Doesn't even need to call in the assistance from Flowerful. No support necessary whatsoever. Really good defensive hold from Shopify, led off by the early push out of Dish to find the kill, but then the combination just locked down A main. The Breach ult comes out, what instantly follows? Breach C4 out of Shopify and the Sage slow. Yeah. So if you're in that Brimstone smoke ready to pop out after you would just have absolutely gotten just eaten alive by that utility.
One of the benefits of playing Sage on this attacking side is being able to scale off that wall, get sights a little bit easier. But when there's a Sage on the other side, the amount of stall between the Slorbs, the wall, and the Brim utility can really nullify that.
And I wonder if that causes a change in the playstyle from Team Liquid, because they've been playing the first 4 rounds fairly slowly early on, going for ult orbs, sort of waiting out the Sage wall, this type of thing as Flowerful TP's back. But if you wait that long and you don't burn Sage utility, you'll just get locked down into an area like A main, but now they're out into sand. And actually they get walled in, trapped by Lori.
And they're even aftershock, so you can't have multiple players swinging to break that. Now with an aftershock towards spawn, they're trying to isolate the site players, but little they know, no one's here. Shopify going for another fast retake. Showstopper, oh, that could be 2. Sonder for all 3. Sands is her domain, and this round is all but over. Team Liquid will desperately try and get this plant, but Shopify is on the scene. Sonder, no more to come. Flowerful though, able to trade, and it's just DRN, 8 HP. Stuck in this smoke, trying to buy time. If she could get that lockdown, maybe something, but it's just a classic. It's Shopify from so many different angles, and this one should be impossible.
And it is. Shopify going to be able to get the defuse on that and go up to 4. I mean, what a play. Sonder jumping out. Of course, this map has been changed since last we've really seen it on the international stage.
First time for VCT, even if we're seeing this map in its new condition.
Exactly, and what that's meant is we've seen, you know, the ability to really attack out of here. Maybe not too much change with the area on the map with that particular play, but the flash coming through as well from Shopify after the 2 first kills with Sonder's ultimate, just absolutely perfect to be able to convert it into a third there. Shopify have really been impressing me with the utility, and especially with the 2 new pieces of their composition. The Sage and the Raze are looking hot.
Yeah, Sonder was that player who pulled them over the line in the final map yesterday, and again, she is starting with that same fire, 8-3, just 5 rounds in.
Looking at the ults here, both Brimstones have the ults ready to go. That's a Sage slow lineup. I love the observers being able to show us that one right there. No play coming off of it immediately. And it looks like Shopify are back to sort of the slower early round approach. Bastarda is 2 charges off the ultimate as well, so maybe a factor here in a post plant.
It will just be this 2-3 setup. Shopify a little bit more passive towards speed, just can you take contact on their chamber. Flowerful will make that. Should call for the breach to rotate over. But again, this stall utility could be big. This hit is segmented from TL. They have to disrespect that smoke, and Flowerful realizes she'll get out of this one.
Remember, though, Bonita has the ult for the retake, so I think Actually, one's position so important here because the rest of the team is going to get pushed off to the site, and she is right around Generator to cut these players off as they burst out.
Shopify wants to go quickly on this retake, but Smokes will stay in their face. With that Brim ult finding nothing, it's actually an ult 2 reply towards Spawn. DRN will swing off of that, finds her kill, and finally the spike is coming down. Benita attempting a play, but Starter won't allow it, and now through the smoke, it's Sonder. Double satchel, does not expect the off angle from Nachi1, but Flowerful, she could save this one. 2 kills, looking for more in the corner. There's a player stuck, but it's only KP, and she's trying to dial in the aim, but she cannot whip around onto Daiki. Second round for TL Brazil.
Really solid setup there. The site hit with the Sage Wall, and then the post plant from Team Liquid. Gorgeous, right? DRN's ultimate sort of forces Lori to just throw herself out in front of the site, and she's been strong in the past, but DRN was able to perfectly swing off her own utility there and shut that play down. If you see the site hit, right, you saw Team Liquid, because you have the Sage, usually when you hit this B site, you have to put all your eggs up into the tower basket, I suppose you could say. But instead, with the Sage Wall, you can just use that to block off Generator and then sort of collapse in with your south side players onto the site, deal with that tower area later. I really like that.
Well, this one is faster, though, from Team Liquid. Quick sands control, slower in Bastarda's face. That showstopper will do nothing.
This is interesting, though. Second time we've seen with early sands pressure, Lori just drop the wall down there. Now with your top side player down, Team Liquid, again, just sort of trapped A main. Benita, too, has pushed down out of B main, right? She's on the, she wasn't seen on the trip.
Oh, this angle could be perfect. Benita lines up, too. Only one, though.
Hey, you take that, though. You remove Bastarda from the play, right? You're already down Nachi1 from Team Liquid. Now entering a site going to be so difficult, and Flowerful posted with the Chopperator.
She's flashed off the line, turns it. Shot, though, will not land. TL recovered to 3v3, and now they have options as Shopify quickly rotates towards that B site.
There are some options here, but DRN used all of the smokes on the initial A side hit, which is going to make it really hard to get onto the site. Now, luckily for Team Liquid, no one's really playing here, right? KP's the only player outside rope. Now, Shopify should know there are multiple players in A main because of the res. They know where that body is, so they're going to quickly multi-flank with 2, and KP cannot hold it down.
Remember, that trip was broken earlier, so this flank is open still. Team Liquid should be aware of this possibility. They're planting for main, so we'll likely look to re-clear that space.
Spike planted.
2 players in main ready to trade off one another. Bastarda just gonna slow things down with the paint shell. Very aware of the player, and the swing, Bastarda shuts it down. Sonder in the corner, stuck on 58 HP. You cannot escape. Team Liquid will take a third.
These really slow rounds from Team Liquid have been quite effective. Shopify seems to be putting a lot of commitment into these contact pushes. 3 rounds now where they've sent at least 1 or 2 players forward on those pushes. And while they were effective early game, Team Liquid's pace seems to have been able to contend with it.
Yeah, you know, Benita was able to get the 1 kill on the flank. He does get traded out. But, I mean, I still think that's a worthwhile trade. Like, gets the Sage down to 30 HP there. Then, as soon as Flowerful drops, that, I believe, gave the Resurrect over to Daiki. And that completely changes sort of the DNA of the round, the choices they can make. Daiki getting excited on stage there too. So I like this sort of early presence from Team Liquid, then having the ability to fall on back. But Shopify, with a couple of Buckies in hand and the pistols, are trying to just lock down this A main sands area that Team Liquid have loved.
So for Shopify now, with this consistent south side pressure from Team Liquid, what's the solution? Is it trying to go for more north side crunches? Is it entrenching, leaning into the retake? Something else?
I mean, I think their pistol round strategy is something that could come back into play, right? Saunders 2 points off the ultimate, and while in pistol round, you can sort of go flying down the south side of the map. I think it's a little harder without that raise ult once you get later into the game.
Okay, Benita will try and run through that smoke, but doesn't get away with anything. Flowerful a kill, so Shopify can try and deal a little bit more damage here, but it's going to be that Bucky classic on the retake. Not really what you want. And Team Liquid, you see some of the value of the Sage here, are going to just plant for main and try and play off that utility in the late round if they need to. TRN, though, a little bit stuck here. Has to try and ford this river of the players back gen. Like kind of the insurance policy holding in main, and they're actually forced to invest that ult to get TRN to a safer position. It is effective, though. As Horrible falls, and she'll just swing for a little bit more. 2 more kills. TRN farming them up, and Sonder out of this one. Yeah,
already 3 orbs on that one there, too. And you could ask yourselves, like, oh, you know, it's an eco round from Shopify. Why do you commit the ultimate? But I think, you know, possibly DRN is thinking about this, too. Well, this is the 8th round of the half. You have 4 more. DRN, if you ult this round, you likely get another ult off before the end of the half. Maybe round 11, maybe round 12. When you get a 4K, you're going to get one, you know, in round 10. So I do think using the ultimate to fully secure the round there, knowing that you can get that at least third one, as opposed to you save it to round 9, round 10, maybe you don't have that ability. I think that's always a solid decision to be made here.
Well, right before the replay there, you can see that Shopify are maybe considering a change, actually sending Sonder back towards north side this time. But Team Liquid as well, I think, are going to consider changing up their strategy as well. No timeout for either team, so they're both confident in their play here.
And the one area of the map we've seen some attention drawn is Dish, right? Dish changes have made it way easier for defenders to push up on that side. You don't have to worry about as many angles on both areas, but in terms of like breach concusses, all of a sudden, a north side crunch, you can go out of Dish, whereas before you would have to go arcade. That area got opened up, so a little bit less popular nowadays. But with how Team Liquid have been playing it, they've waited for that Dish push to come through, which this round, Shopify not electing to go for. Instead, back to the old behavior of putting 3 players right around Sand and A main.
Team Liquid this time might want to split towards this B side. That's pretty effective with these Sage.
Oh yeah, and look at the positioning from Nachi1, right? In underpass, just guarding to make sure no player walked out of arcade to intercept Bastarda and Naxi here. That's a really good look when you're playing these slow early rounds. Putting someone down in underpass to guard the flanks is important because, you know, Chamber Trip not actually being used to guard that.
Bonus on Flowerful here. She's got 1, holds on the TP, 2 for 1. A solid trade. Benina towards heaven is the swing, right? Absolutely. Perfect timing. That's north side control. And now the rest of TL have to try and scale this site alone, but Benina and Lori both arrive. A quick shutdown on the B split.
Very nicely done off of that one. Again, the early setup from Team Liquid was strong, but when Flowerful finds 2 opening picks and Benita is just pushing forward, she is feeling super confident on this one. The ultimates now for Shopify starting to really start to stack up as well. The only breach ult for Naxi, thing they have to be considering on the opposite end.
Yeah, and I think, Benita, I was talking to Lori before this game when she was getting her makeup done, and she was saying how much value Benita has been providing. 20 years of FPS experience behind her. This is the 3rd game she's been to an international LAN, and she's been giving a lot of advice to the Shopify team, keeping their vibes up in these LAN matches, which is pretty new for the rest of the core.
Absolutely, right? With the newest edition. Right there with Benita, really impactful on the team. I think you combine that with the leadership of KP in the server as well, and you got everything. Let's see how they deal with this ultimate, the full execute from TL onto B.
Rolling Thunder in. No one is contesting for Shopify.
Benita
in heaven, and she'll take down Bastarda. Finds one, still alive in that position. Ult comes through, but Daiki's close on the wall. The Molly was what forced to push through, but there's a second one as well. Benita needs to live here. She needs to stay on top. Kate B has the support. Trade is there. And the showstopper over the top won't get anything done, but this nade could finish the job. Daiki out of the corner, and only Nachi1 on the site. Sonder keeps it going.
Oh, it's just perfect. This Raze switch up for Shopify has been such a treat to watch out of Sonder, getting so much value out of the utility on the retake. I think Benita locking down tower early on made the round almost impossible to play. You know, TL just sort of had to keep sending themselves because they only had the one north side player. It was just Nachi1 on the Cypher, or on the chamber rather, and you can't really risk going up the rope on your own.
And interestingly enough, that wall you're seeing there is actually a defender wall. Shopify's been putting that down to be able to scale more easily outside of Generator, which is a difference from TL and other teams who play this composition. They're actually not walling off that part of the map when they exec B.
Yeah, you can sort of like ignore arcade in a way and just focus on the gunfights directly on site. I think it's a really clever way to play the map, because I think once you lose tower as a defender, it just becomes this dance, this ring around the rosy between the tower arcade area. The defenders, they have to be pushing forward, and watching your back can be difficult.
Yeah, it reminds me of the wall that FPX throws on A side of Ascent, where you can just funnel players quickly, or excuse me, the B side, to get back in together, giving you that kind of safe passageway to make your retake easier.
Yeah, and in a similar fashion, we've seen Team Liquid on these attacks towards the B side. The wall, early on, we saw it go down Generator. Past that, we saw a lot over towards Canteen. Not really wanting to worry about that angle too much, but I think that with Shopify trying to sort of fight Team Liquid before they get the plant down, you know, Fracture being a map where the defenders rotate so much quicker than the attackers, it's been a lot of pressure, and there hasn't really been safety for the site players of Team Liquid, right? Like DRN puts the plant down, but is getting pushed off by Breach, Raze, Utility, all this nonsense. It's not been fun to deal with.
Absolutely not. Shopify will switch Sonder over to the B site now and have her Just hold contact towards Arcade as Team Liquid is playing another one of these slower rounds.
It's a super early wall, and it's again Shopify playing this 4-1 with Flowerful being just the anchor towards the A site. So a little surprising to see them invest the early wall from Lori. All of Shopify just want to fight Arcade, and it has been the buddy system for them. The more aggressive positions have been held by this 3-player core of Shopify. Maybe with Lori there as well. And I think what this will do is allow them to activate a very fast north side flank. That's going to be the concern for Team Liquid in the post plant. But in terms of post land, Bastarda and DRN both 1 point off of the ult. So Bastarda's going to grab the orb right here to enter the site. DRN's going to plant to get the ult. And the post plant utility is going to be epic.
That's been noted, though. The breach player for Shopify. KP rotating to get on the scene here. Lori's hope is to get one, get out, rocket in. It won't be able to connect. Shopify full retake.
Yeah, big damage down onto Bastarda too, down to 50. We'll get a quick heal. DRN's gonna have to try and sprint, but the concuss timed is not enough to get the kill. KP swings off her own utility and shuts it down.
Daiki doesn't know about the second player. This double flank is perfect from Bonita. And now they're trapped in the site up top. Nachi1 will try and swing, but it's a fruitless effort. Only 2 in main. Not the weapons for the job, and a smoke in their face. Bastarda needs something magical. She needs one of those moments, but the utility from Shopify is keeping them utterly entrapped in main, and there's nothing they can do about that defuse. Just gonna get stuck down, and Shopify clean on the retake yet again.
I love it. KP pushing through the fire and the flames of the Brim Molly on the ground just to pick up a couple of eco frags on the back end of it too. I really like the way Shopify have played this defensive side. Credit to TL for scraping out 4 rounds, but these multi-flanks from Shopify, you saw the only time they really struggled on the flanks was when it was just Bonita, and that was a 1-for-1. But when you're playing these multiple flankers, you can just get this second player to pinch in, and the shot in the back of Daiki's head is excellent.
Interesting smoke there from TL, which I think is a change from how you used to play this map. They pop a one-way over.
Sorry, I love seeing Saunders smile. That's awesome. But yeah, give back to the one-way.
Yeah, it's a cool one. We'll talk about that later. What we got to talk about now is Nachi1, because she's just found a huge entry. I think this is the first round where Team Liquid have had a gift like this off the rip.
That's a big one. And with how Flowerful has been playing sort of the anchor position, you can see it is just KP, who's liked the rope area, will run into potentially Bastarda's rifle if she commits on forward. 3 players going on the south side, and this is an interesting position. We have seen the chamber trip here a couple of times now for Nachi1. Shopify aware enough to be able to potentially smoke that off if they want to go for the flank.
These multi-flanks have been one of the most effective parts of Shopify's retake, and thus far, Team Liquid has not really found that solution. They'll again slowly scale into an A split here.
And if Shopify are able to retake A main, remember, Lori has ultimate. Flowerful died in A main, so it's possible they can bring her back to life and have this retake be with 4 players in A main.
Site's taken, but multi-flank is already inbound. That smoke was stripped, and 3 players are going to be pushing through main.
Now, with this wall towards CT, it actually means that Team Liquid can't take it themselves. Saunder finds the opener, so now you have to turn around and stop this res from coming through.
Naxi has to fight this one, but Bastarda there to support. The utility will delay, but that spike only just got planted. Plenty more time to deal with. Ult goes into main. That's the next level of the stall, and Daiki there on the swing. She'll live too. Tuck in towards her wall. She's found a safe spot outside of CT. 4 versus 4 now. A second layer of the flank as well. There's a player coming from the north side, and Daiki holding on this angle. Bonita on the wide swing finds her, and 2 falls. DRN, but Bastarda making it work. 1 versus 1. Her against Saunder. The satchel's through, but Bastarda wins the round.
The 4K to close out the half. TL in touching distance of Shopify. The retake looked good. Everything perfect for Shopify, except for the fact that Bastarda is just a machine. Look at that 1-2, then KP lost. Where is this girl on site that is just absolutely smashing? And then in the Raze 1v1, able to knock Saunder out of the sky.
She is just different, and she's loving it. The crowd here to support them. We'll see if 5 is enough for Team Liquid as we hear from the desk.
I'm gonna need another angle of what we just saw there.
For
Give us
real.
another angle.
Saunder, that was so close, just flying through with that shorty. Valiant effort for sure, indeed. There was so much to talk about in this first half, right? I mean, Bonita was on fire so many rounds. She had so much impact, but not only that, take a look. The first gun round in the first half, Bonita just being an absolute anchor. Fast 3K to fully seal the deal for herself and just bring me with the stimmy. I mean, we always talk about it, but Bonita absolutely showing up in this first half.
She looks like the Zoomer on the server.
Yeah, I mean, she like held her own on multiple rounds. Like even in that one round where she's just stuck in tower, like she held her own. And I think that going forward, Team Liquid have to change a couple of things because right now they're kind of, when they're on their executes, they're util dumping. And with their util, they obviously have a copycat comp, but they really have to start using that towards slowing down and delaying the round. One thing I noticed is that they have to force Shopify to play at their pace. And so we see here, Bastarda and Sonder, they're both doing their jobs. You know, Sonder obviously going a lot wilder on the map than Bastarda was, but we saw in that last round that she picked it up, she picked up the pace, and she really showed that she can frag. So both these teams are so close, and so they really have to force Shopify to play at their own pace, and that's the only way they're gonna get those rounds going.
They absolutely do, and I'm looking at KP as well on the Shopify side of things. A little bit of a slower start, I think, for herself. The utility, the timing, it was a bit wonky. So coming into the second half, hopefully a nice refresh for herself and keep on the momentum, keep teeing up your teammates.
How do you stop this momentum Shopify? Very quickly.
You gotta be aggressive.
It's hard.
Yeah, flip it around on the defense. Shopify from round one on pistol, right? They did not stop pressing W. They got in the faces of Team Liquid and did not let them have any sort of exec.
Well, let's see if they can indeed get back at Shopify even, and maybe take this pistol as well. Back to you, Ender and Mimi, for the second half.
Thank you very much, Sue. Chrissy, we've got mirror comps here. Do we expect something different from Shopify's attack?
Oh, I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of these B hits from them already sort of geared up towards this area with similar ideas, right? The Sage Wall's on attack a little bit more standard, I would say, with blocking off those pivotal areas, but we might not have time to get fully into this because right now...
Cool. That is cool. I've never seen that before with the Raze being able to quickly Roomba up the top. It's traded though, Roomba for Roomba. Now kill for kill. Naxi holds it down with her frenzy and a second too. What's happening? Shopify shut down, only Flowerful in a 1 versus 3.
The trades don't come in, and Naxi is just farming with the frenzy. Flowerful, 1 versus 3, and the spike is just absolutely in Narnia over by Arcade. Potential flank to come in too, so Flowerful absolutely trapped here, waiting to see if she can find this contact. That would open up the round if you find this pick right here, but Nachi1 just going to fall back after intercepting Flowerful, and the round's still very much in control for TL.
And TL not even super aggressive in holding this spike, instead just establishing this crossfire between the B site itself and the Sage player of Daiki.
Yeah, and it seemed like Shopify, you know, we saw Team Liquid go a lot for these arcade plays and ignore tower until later in the round. Shopify sort of split up a little bit. That put them in this position. Now Flowerful, wait a second.
Have the timing?
You could just walk to the A site. The generator player, or the canteen player, your biggest problem, but no, with Daiki's positioning now, Flowerful just has a straightaway towards A. Keep in mind, though, A main, and Flowerful will be aware that Nachi1 was on the south side of the map and will be here to fight her off the site.
This is the 1v1 for the round. Nachi1, if she dies here, it
10
could
seconds.
get troublesome. Damage done onto Flowerful. Spike plant is assured, and now Nachi can split with her teammates, charging on in. She's the only one needed.
It's funny, you know, Naxi has a flash ready to go. Fault line just came up as well, but no, Nachi1 says, don't need that help. I'm going to get the 1v1, lock that one down, and that's carrying off of the momentum that but started with the 4K clutch to win out the last round in the half. They kick things off with the pistol round and look very strong.
What a multi-kill from Naxi. Very important round to get going here for Team Liquid. Get to build pretty heavily into their defensive side now, but Shopify making the choice to invest.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm seeing a couple of stingers, a couple of light armor specters as well, because they were able to get the plant down. That's actually so important. Flowerful being able to sort of run through defender spawn and get the plant gives them enough cash to commit to this. Although Sonder at the last second was selling her gun, ends up with the stinger. So it does all come through for Shopify in the end. Currently unknown that they went for the force. Ouch.
Big shot for Nachi1, and utility invested here to get rid of Nachi. It's another one of these B hits, but the Marshal is on scene. Nachi1 will look for more. Flash ready on KP, but holding it for the moment. Now that Heaven player is down. Nachi might be in a little bit of trouble. That's unless she lands her shot. Second
too.
found. Yeah, damage onto the second. Smoked off, no worries. She'll push for more. Wants a little something extra in this round as Shopify are patient on that plant. They have their Sage player stuck in Heaven, and that's completely denying this spike from coming down. Nachi's positioning so pivotal here, but the flank will push her off.
Yeah, and there's Sage walls galore. Kind of hard to get out of this area. Daiki went for that copycat wall and just blocked off Arcade, so they only have to worry about so many angles. Very clear that someone on TL told Nachi1 that there is a player slant. Benita has absolutely nowhere to go as KP concusses to try and get herself out of B main, but chunked down to just 6 HP. How are you going to make it happen? A plant would be important. An orb for Lori, some extra money as well, but Nachi1 from pistol to here, farming up against Shopify.
This is looking clean. KP 1 HP. Team Liquid so patient there.
That's a really gutsy force from Shopify too. I mean, a close game, things tying up now on 7. Shopify, likely this ends up meaning that you can maybe go for some Sheriffs again in round 3. Still have enough for round 4, but not going to be ideal for them whatsoever. And I think that we've already seen sort of the lockdown from Nachi1 being able to hold B main and then turn around to tower. That's just not an angle you really ever have to deal with as an attacker. And the Marshall just farming on the second round.
And we've gotten to see it now from both sides, what this Sage is bringing on the defense. There, it was completely segmenting off Arcade, so it was only those 2 angles that TL had to fight from, which makes it so much easier to lock the site down.
Yeah, we can sort of keep this contrast going between how the two teams play the map. And one thing I am curious about with TL is how many of these flanks do we see them activate? Do we see them go for the early aggressive plays? We saw Shopify have all the Sage, slow orb lineups that were really cool to see, especially early on in the half. But Team Liquid not really showing us any of those looks yet, so they can maybe condition Shopify into feeling relatively comfortable in the early rounds, and then maybe first rifle round, second rifle round. These types of times you can really switch gears on Shopify and catch them off.
Another 1-for-1 comparison there. You can see both these teams very aware of the value funneling those orbs into your breach gives. KP going to try and grab a second one here.
The concuss into the paint shells too. Everyone run back under, get to the bomb shelter. The rest of Team Liquid are hunting you down. Daiki on the swing, farms a couple, and Lori puts one back, but the rest of Team Liquid making quick work of Shopify.
Eco fraggers.
Brutal.
But Starta hungry to get something there. Only 1 loss in that round, a success for TL.
Man. Shopify just trying to escape into the fallout shelter, and it just does not work whatsoever.
They didn't have the
and,
right pass.
well, here comes that rifle round. I feel like it's sort of been TL's, not necessarily luck with how they played for the orbs in the first half, but getting these ults online for round 4 has been important. DRN just won off, and DRN sort of quietly almost having a really solid game. 13 kills already on that Brimstone. Had a couple of really impactful rounds on that attacking side to squeak away some round wins. And we are going to see some early aggression. That's the double satchel. First rifle round, and Bastarda is on the chase. Can't find that opener. And Team Liquid are going to hold their horses.
That satchel routing is so cool, though. Gets you an awesome position on the players deep, trying to escape from that stun. Doesn't work out, but damage done, and Shopify a bit trapped here.
I think that's just great calling from Team Liquid. Calm, calculated first 3 rounds, and then boom, hit the gas. Shopify without northside pressure again. What do you really do? They've been chunked out a little bit, still have basically full utility on the breach, on the raise, whatnot, so they've got the tools, and they may honestly just be timing out this Sage wall entirely. Like, don't deal with the extra angles that's going to cause for you. It only lasts for 40 seconds, so these early Sage walls are very easy to just wait out, as long as you're not losing space anywhere on the map. And because they're all sort of holding hands, they're not at risk of getting caught off individually.
40 seconds, and Shopify will look to take main. Slow orb there, but Nachi1 actually passed her teleport gate. She was unable to rendezvous, and that puts her teammate in trouble. Daiki up top of the site. They're aware that she's in the area. Do they know the exact positioning? Ready on the swing. Sage spotted. Sonder takes her down. 3 left alive for this retake.
Team Liquid decide to double flank topside, but they did break a chamber tripwire, I believe. So Shopify Rebellion must be aware a north side flank is on its way.
And their setup nullifies it. They're playing everyone in main for this post.
Everyone offside, except Benita, who has the molly, interestingly enough, so she's actually just not even going to use that for post, is just going to put it down underneath site with the breach ult coming out. I love that, so Bastarda takes a little bit on the way in, but farms Benita.
The sacrificial lamb will fall on the site, but the main force this was in the post plant. Nade for Sonder. That's the first one up. Great turn, but Naxi still gets the kill. 2 left. They need to get on that defuse promptly. Bastarda on the tap. Shopify on the spam. They know she's off now. She's going to try and stick this one to half, though. Flowerful on the swing, gets her off, but it's a 1 versus 1. KP healthy. Naxi less so, and with the swing, KP will not let it happen. We tie at 8.
Well, I mean, Team Liquid making that a little bit closer than maybe it needed to be there. Benita really struggled on site with the breach ult, just hammering her. That'll tie things up for us at the time being. I'm holding my breath because I see that showstopper for Sonder, but I think Bastarda, again, had a really solid round, sort of jumping out from Dish to keep things close. Sonder had those zoomer reactions to dodge the flash, but it wasn't quite enough to get that kill.
Yeah, Shopify is a team that prides themselves on these late round kind of setups. KP is an IGL. She's talked a lot about this is where she and her team thrives, when things get really late, when she has that information on her side to make the right decision and win out in those later moments.
They have been solid in the late rounds so far today. Does appear that they just want to go for this sort of 5-player hand-holding strat early on, sort of scout out, see where the players are going to be, because a lot of times on Fracture, you can get early information, right? Where's the breach concussing? Do you see any Raze utility? And as soon as you know where those 2 players are leaning, you know the opposite end of the map is going to be very soft. Usually a Chamber on that side. Maybe not true in a round like this with Changer playing top side of A, but I like the idea from Shopify early on, but they're actually sending their spike to the north side a little bit earlier than the rest of the team. That has ended poorly for teams in the past as the rest of the crew takes the zipline. And Nachi1 might have the perfect time here, coming around the corner with the operator and gets it, and that's the spike as well.
2 players more contacting across the rope. Nachi slowly walking back. She's been spotted though. Now into the safety of her rendezvous gate. She can stick around, try and get another here. Shot won't land, but still, that's advantage held.
Whoa,
That's all that's happening. A-Main, Flowerful's just pushed through, but started down. All to delay the push through, but the showstopper is out!
Sonder!
How does she do it?
The 1-2 switches over to the operator, and now she's making a mad dash for drop. DRN is here, though. No smoke on rope.
But there's res.
There's a res immediately, and also, look at Daiki. She's taken the zipline down to the south side. It's a completely chaotic round, and it's only Daiki, the sole survivor for TL.
10 seconds left. Plant will come through. And is Daiki known? Are they aware? That's the question. The back of Flowerful showing the first. A recovery onto the rifle, but Benita on the swing. Close, but no cigar for TL.
Pure madness around like that, and it is Sonder, the hero, to switch things up for Shopify.
She satcheled through the Brimble.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, literally, the world is burning around her, and she goes flying through the sky, not just getting the first kill with a showstopper. Like, okay, fun, you know, you have that insane ability, but then dropping, and with a Guardian, instant headshot onto Naxi there. Does end up falling, but instantly rezzed as well. That was an absolute monster performance from Sonder.
That is a round that hurts if you are Team Liquid. That is a round that looked like it was all but yours, and now instead, you're onto an eco here.
An eco, but not an impossible one to win. Nachi1 already popped the chamber up, and Bastarda has showstopper too. So it's possible that if you find an early pick with the chamber, you commit more ultimates and see if you can get something rolling as Team Liquid. 4 players leaning towards this B site too, so very possible. As the site hit comes through, Team Liquid can fight out of the smokes and try to cut Shopify off at the pass.
Stage roll across though. Showstopper is pop, but Starda stuck on the other side. Over the top, she'll take down 2 players, I guess. Multi-kill, that's pretty good. We'll see if they can get more. DRN on the ghost for 1. Lori on the trade, she's low. Heal available, and the swing not there. Benita is still in this smoke vein, not in a position to support, and she might just die to the
spike is outside of the smoke. This is a disaster.
What is going on?
The shot
Flowerful
misses. Flowerful had to hit that shot, and now it all comes crumbling down. Nachi1 gets removed by Flowerful. Chamber v Chamber. Flowerful wins it out. 2 versus 2 now, and it's going to be DRN.
DRN is alive in this corner. The Chamber ult is still up. 30 seconds. They have time to rotate if they go now.
That's the important thing. They were able to buy the space to get the spike, TP off. They know both players are on this site, but the problem, the eternal problem on attack as Shopify here on Fracture, you're slower on the rotate, so already Naxi and DRN are here ready to fight Shopify.
The util will try and delay 15 seconds. This is it for Shopify. They need to win the fights getting out onto this site. They need to get that spike down now, but it's on the floor. Naxi fells them both.
Team Liquid come together against the odds there. A completely scattered buy, and it's hero pro. I mean, DRN with a ghost finds a kill. Bastarda is able to go 1 for 1. Yeah, she's already on 23 HP. It doesn't matter. That will get the job done. You can see the giggle as she falls to her own rocket. But even then, it seemed possible. It really did.
If I'm Shopify, I'm taking a pause off that. You gotta just take a breath for a second. That is...
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, too, is this was the first time we saw the very shallow Sage Wall from Shopify Rebellion. As you say, the timeout will come through. And I think one of the biggest issues with that Sage Wall is that especially versus an eco, it allows defenders to reclaim so much space towards the site. You saw Bastarda just freely sprint out of Canteen. Usually that's a much longer angle to guard.
And you notice Team Liquid did not do that wall once. They put an emphasis on keeping that separation.
Yeah, it's always like if you can wall off Canteen a little bit deeper, or you can wall off Generator.
Yeah.
Those are the two walls you want to see. And yes, this is a wall that some teams do, but I think it causes a lot of problems. And in the chaos of that round, definitely made things challenging as a couple of the players had made it out onto site, but Bastarda's ultimate opened things up, and then they're smoked off. It's this whole dance that you just don't want to deal with.
Timeout for Shopify here. Is this about quelling the nerves, getting things under control, or is it a change in style?
I think it has to be a change of style. 2 rounds in a row, all 5 players on the south side. Now we see a 2-3 split for them. Because when, again, you're all 5 going down from B main, you just get cut off, and you don't have the late round pivot. It's just sprinting over to A and hoping that you can win your fights on the way out. So this is a much better setup.
But look at this. Team Liquid will be set up for a fight out from Sands here. Maybe the ult? Are they trying to go for a south side
There
pinch?
it is!
Something like that. Ult is through. They'll run it down, but there's an ult to reply. Play is canceled for Team Liquid.
Oh no, everyone's concussed. Don't want a piece of that. Shopify have now sent the spike towards the top side. KP going to be there. They will run into this tripwire, but they're going to quickly play off that, expecting the A main push to come on through, and Sonder finds the opening kill.
But started down, Sonder in the movement, impeccable yet again, and she can pinch all the way back to main with Flowerful now in position.
Benita over on the B site is able to find the catch onto Nachi1 with a Sheriff in hand.
She's found a second as well from Drop. Daiki will shut down the lurk of Benita. It's only 2 now for Shopify.
1 enemy remaining.
Lori falls to Naxi. Team Liquid get a resurrect off as well. TL dealing with the north side aggression absolutely flawlessly. Now Flowerful with a bit of a trek to grab the spike, and knowing 3 players stand in her way.
Naxi is untradeable here. If she commits to this fight, this kill would be massive, and Flowerful has it. 1 versus 2. Spike will come down.
No good utility really on the retake. 1 slow orb, and that is just about it for Team Liquid. How do they make it happen? They fake the door open with Daiki, and will now work together with 2 back into sight.
Flowerful wants a fight, but Nachi so ready. Team Liquid, the first to double digits.
TL down at the half, fight back with the pistol. Now a couple of rifle rounds as well. And the eco too, I mean, starting to stack it up for them. Nachi1 been so successful. I think Daiki too, turning around and shutting down that lurk from Benita was so impactful, because as soon as you have that sort of idea of this player is on our flank in spawn, it makes it so much harder to step out onto site. Maybe a little bit too quick from Benita, trying to make that one come together. But Team Liquid, in a chaotic round, keep things calm and take the lead.
And this will be Shopify Zico now. This is getting into very dangerous territory for them.
Oh yeah, no ultimates to work with really here whatsoever. Again, 3-2 split, 3 towards the top side. But they're running into an operator. Nachi1 has been good, but won't get it on that one. And now Shopify very likely just increase the tempo off of this. Don't really have players outside of B at the moment, slowly working into A main. And I like the switch up from Team Liquid. You can see where the tripwire is instead of over by drop, because that's where Nachi's playing. It's going to be an A main, and they can really take their time. You have a trip guarding your south side, you have a wall guarding drop. It is very easy to stall out Shopify.
Liquid showing their patience again, only now sending a rotation back towards the A site.
It always scares me, it spooks me, seeing that spike go on the zip line. They do have the tripwire to protect them. Interestingly, KP is sending it over here. I think on a rifle round we would never see something like this, but Shopify Rebellion maybe a little bit more willing to take a risk. Put that spike up into the front lines.
They do leave Flowerful on alert here towards A. 45 seconds left to play with.
It's that 4-1 split we saw from Shopify on defense, isn't it? Here it comes though, smokes do come down, and yet no real commitment, so they're trying to get this lurk up from Flowerful. If Flowerful is able to remove Daiki, all of a sudden the round winnable. If Flowerful falls, it's over.
This is it, and Flowerful cannot do it. Daiki holds strong. She'll have support rotating in. Nachi1 smoked off, but with that rendezvous, she should be able to swing through and aid her teammate Daiki. Can she get more? No, Benita on the headshot, the wall boost.
Oh, what is that?
The top, a showstopper from Sonder. Again, the raise pick, excellent. And now, Team Liquid have to work this retake, but the operator has fallen into the hands of
Eyes
Flurry.
of Bastarda here in main, but
And it doesn't
Bonita
happen.
takes her head off. 4 versus 1. Shopify say, yeah, we can turn it right around with the ecos, and it's Sonder to finish it off. The Thrifty to come through and tie things up.
Crushing for Team Liquid. Shopify, they make that late round call. KP makes the adaptation. This is where they thrive.
And the crazy thing is, too, is that was all hinging on Flowerful getting the kill.
And she didn't.
She didn't. That was a 4 versus 5 Thrifty that they're able to get the kill onto Daiki. And then this teleport, I don't know what is going on there. The positioning not ideal for the pinch coming in at the perfect time. Shopify, really the timing of North and South colliding there was perfect to remove the chamber.
And a big round now for Team Liquid. Their money is on a knife's edge. They lose here, they are broken, and Shopify might just be able to run away with this one.
Looks like there will be a timeout coming through as Team Liquid assess their options. And I think this timeout is very likely a money one. I'm sort of checking things out right now. There's not even full utility on these players, right? With some of them going for the full force. I think Naxi currently has the biggest decision where with 4,100 in the bank coming into this round, or 43 rather, currently she's sitting with a Vandal and full armor, but just 1 flash. And I think that's actually suboptimal here. I think losing 25 HP and gaining that second flash is probably the better decision for Team Liquid. The rest of the team a little bit scattered too. No boom bot, light armor on a couple of players. So this is a round where I do feel like Shopify almost have more time to think about how do we attack, while Team Liquid just decide what is our actual buy setup here.
And they don't have any of those big ultimates to try and make a play with. If they go for a crunch or a forward play, something like that, there's not a lot of support utility to get them out of jail.
It has felt like we haven't seen a lot of these crunch plays from Team Liquid that Shopify was showing us, especially early on. We had the one sort of breach ult play Naxi went for to try and get the players in, but yeah, again, it will just be the 1 flash on Naxi this round. Somewhat suboptimal. With her playing up towards tower, though, she can just use the 1 flash and try to swing off of that. Rest of Shopify working down into underpass, so a new way of them getting some space on the north side coming in, and very likely this ends up turning into a wall off onto generator.
Starda is spotted on the site, and smokes go up, but still Team Liquid just committing the 3 players here. Shopify's push on the north side has not been spotted yet, and now it's revealed, but no one there to trade Bastarda.
Yeah, Shopify just stall out now, because if you're going to commit north side and you want to take tower, you need to have the concuss up from KP, right? KP will play south side on the breach, concuss tower, and then you have Sonder double satcheling in, but they didn't have that cooldown up yet.
Nachi needs something here. She needs to even the odds. They'd have a Sheriff on the retake. They'd have limited utility. Can she get it done? No. Flowerful swings in, takes her kill. Does Team Liquid decide to save here? They only have that Sheriff committed.
I think that may be the idea. It depends what Daiki can accomplish here on the Sheriff. There's players coming in from all different directions. Daiki finds 1. She's a beast, but only the 1 kill will come through. Naxi in a position where, yes, you fall back here. Again, all money fully spent from Team Liquid, so the save call does come through, and Shopify are certainly going up to 11.
They have an extra 60-odd seconds before they have to make the decisions into the next round. This is where you need one of those Daiki speeches. When they were down in their qualifying match to get here, she's only 18 years old, but she had an insane speech, hyped them up, brought them back, kept that mental in check. They came back, they won that, they qualified here.
That's how they got here, and now with a chance to be a top 3 team in Game Changers. That's what these 2 teams are playing for right now. Winner goes on up against G2 later on in this tournament, and Shopify poised to take map 1 here as they move up to 11. This is where you need that leadership. They already called the timeout in the previous round. Had some extra time as the save call was made, so it's almost a miniature timeout to get the heads on right. Screw it on straight heading into this round, but you can see the 3 players that survived are broke, absolutely scattered here. Naxi and DRN. I think, honestly, this may be a position I would love to see Naxi drop that rifle off to Bastarda or to Nachi1. You know, put them in positions to take opening fights on the defense. That may be an option for them to try and scout out, hunt down the players earlier into this one, because Naxi has not been taking opening fights. She is just setting up there on the breach.
Yeah, now you have this risk. You lose Naxi and DRN here. They'll have a rough buy into the following round. Shorty close, won't get anything done. Great flick out of Sonder. Maybe not a flick, more of a run and gun. Still works out for her. Benita considering investing in that ultimate, but will not make the decision as these players in
Oh,
main are
man.
getting crunched. What a perfect ult out of Benita. A slow orb lineup on top of it. Excellent work out of Shopify on this execute.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing A main super slowly, right? The Raze is going topside, you make that happen, but both rifles are alive for Shopify, and Benita may be backstabbed by the Sheriff. That could be absolutely massive, but no, Benita finds the kill. She's been too good, and Sonder as well will finish things off here unless Naxi can farm a miracle.
Naxi trying to make some magic, but it's a high-low setup from Shopify. There's players on the other side, and there's no way she could have gotten that done.
The players getting a little bit loud there. You can hear the screams coming in through the microphones. Full buy will be on board for Team Liquid. And you know what? They have done more with far, far less already even in this game to tie things up and send us to an OT on our first map of Fracture, our first sighting of it here in Game Changers would be an awesome way to kick off the day. The game that was supposed to be yesterday got moved to today. We have potentially 9 games of Valorant today with OTs, with huge stakes on the line. And we're just getting started, Mimi.
And the stakes are big in this round. Team Liquid, a must-win for them, and Shopify is changing the pace. Fast control towards Arcade, but they reassess.
Oh, actually Shopify, all 5 players on the north side, they got punished when they went all 5 down towards the south side.
Starda, the flash is in! Can she get something? Only one, and the trade is there. That might just be the end. Resurrection through Shopify. They have a player advantage by 2.
That's the thing, 5-player stack so good at shutting down early aggression. The op is posted on the angle, and Flowerful will remove Daigi. A second shot to come on as well. Benita trades things through. Shopify are gonna bring it home.
Nachi1 is alone. An impossible position. Their map choice.
And spotted too.
Yeah, tragic.
Now running into her own team Sage while it does dissipate. Team Liquid, the hope of Brazil will fall unless Nachi can accomplish something insane, but now the reflank comes in. Everything's pinching down onto her. Shopify are looking to close.
They've spotted her. They know exactly where she is, and Lori will complete the formality. Shopify Rebellion take map 1.